And thank you for joining us for another interview. Today, I have the magical Lauren Seth with me. And Lauren has been an entrepreneur. I'm actually not sure how long, Lauren, but been running a successful cleaning business for quite some time now called Second Nature Cleaning. And when I met Lauren, she was heavily involved in that, but starting to have rumblings of I want to do something different. And before we even started working together, she kind of figured out what she wanted that to be. So I want to introduce her to you today. And Lauren, just tell everyone a little bit about yourself and this new business that you are actually creating.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Kim. It's awesome to be here. So I am Lauren Seth. I created a cleaning company, which is I would say not something that I ever thought that I would do in a million years, but it was definitely one of those intuitive decisions that I felt drawn to, and so I trusted the process and I started the cleaning business. But I always knew that that was not, 100% what resonated with me. I have been, very much on my spiritual journey and awakening. And so I knew eventually that I wanted to do something more creative and geared towards that. So now I'm in the process of creating my second business, which would be Sacred Roots Studio. And it's going to be a spirituality design line, mostly for people that are doing traveling and have rituals that they want to bring with them. Because this is something that I love and feel passionate about. So it's just something that really I'm creating for myself, but I also feel like other people would enjoy. And then, I have bigger plans for the future as well. I have things that I know will come to fruition in the future, possibly like a nonprofit. So we'll see where that comes in down the road.
Wow. Wow. So, Lauren, you really are like to me, when I'm with you, I just feel like you are such a go-getter. And even when things are hard, you don't let anything stop you. Like, so you created this cleaning business to support yourself, and it really took off. And even though you knew this won't be my passion, but this is going to take care of me, and instead of abandoning it, you're adding to it by now pursuing like more of your passion and creating a business around that. I love the idea of like little traveling packet of things to like have when you're away for the rituals and the things that are very important. Because once you start like on your spiritual journey, do become attached to things. Like I have actually like it's like a little mini tiny tarot deck that I'll take with me because it
Hmm.
doesn't take a lot
I
of,
have one.
right? Yeah.
I have one.
And I do know you're going to at some point create a deck of cards, and maybe doing it in that mini form would be so amazing too for your line.
Yes.
But that being said, we've been working together now, I guess since like mid-January, and Lauren is in my certification program, which is a really intense program for intuitive development for entrepreneurs. And I have witnessed such a transformation in your ability to connect to information and speak it and trust it. And that is not easy for people to do. Because when you're getting that information, it can feel like you're just like pulling stuff out of thin air. It can feel like you're making it up. And one of the things I love about you, you'll always say, okay, I'm getting this, so I'm just going to say it. And then you just start and then you just give all this information that there has not been a time that you've actually given a piece of information in our classes that wasn't correct. Like the person always has said, yes. And I don't know if you really are acknowledging that for yourself or realize that about yourself, but like right out of the gate, your ability to do this with such accuracy has been phenomenal. Phenomenal, Lauren. That is not always the case. I'm just going to tell you because I've been teaching intuitive development and even mediumship development for years. There's lots of no's out there. And they're to be
Hmm.
expected. So one of the things that really stands out for me is like all those yeses and a little bit of almost like fearlessness. Like I'm here to learn, so I'm just going to say it and see what happens. I really admire and love that about you. And I don't know if you are recognizing that about yourself and if you have like noticed.
I think I do. I know I don't probably don't give myself as much credit as I need to. I'm it's like I am confident in myself and my abilities, but it's a constant process of having to really step into that version of myself. It
Mhm.
is, difficult, but I think, being with people, and being with someone like you who is so supportive and just really helps me flourish in that way and believes in me is just, you know, makes it so much easier. It gives me that confidence that I need.
Yeah. And intuitive development is also the development of ourselves and the trust and confidence in ourselves. It's like this hidden gem that occurs spontaneously as you develop. And even if someone comes in already confident, that grows. Like there's always
Hmm.
room for growth, right? Even at the things that
Yes.
like we're good at. So before you started your development and you were making decisions, maybe you were making decisions about the Second Nature cleaning business, or you were starting to make decisions about, okay, I think this other business is starting to get born inside of me. Um, would you, what was that decision process like before you knew how to connect to your intuitive self?
I feel like there was it's like I would get the intuitive information, but I wouldn't 100% trust it, or I would circle it, or I would allow, other people's egos, and judgments get the better of me, and maybe not always. I wouldn't get to the decision quickly. It would take me a while. I would circle it and, have to get outside opinions and talk about it and ruminate on it. And so, it's like since being in the course and realizing it's like when I do get that information, I do, it is correct and I do need to follow it. And, it's just like learning to trust it when I know it's correct for me, no matter what the outside, voices are saying.
Mhm. I mean, that is huge. And that's what it's all about, right? Because we can be so flooded by outside noise, right? The noise of social media, the noise of people, friends and family members telling us what to do, coaches telling us what to do, business besties, and it makes us second guess ourselves. So what you're saying is no surprise to me you've that you started in that place where you kind of already knew, right? You knew what you had to do, you knew the decision you wanted to make, but then you would circle it because of all that other outside noise. So now that you're much more in touch with like your internal process, like how to have that conversation from within and get the answers from yourself, what has happened to your ability to make decisions or how you're moving or taking action?
I think it really, it's just like, it's the trust. I just have like crazy, crazy faith in the face of adversity.
Mhm.
It's like I know what it looks like to the outside world for like what I'm doing and what my process looks like. I'm sure I just look insane, but I I'm okay with that now because I know that the decisions I'm making are correct for me and that it always works out for me in the end. Um, it's like how can you not trust when
Yeah.
working? It's working out for me in the way that it's supposed to work for me.
Hmm. Right, right. And one of the best ways, something that we've done is when we're working with trust, is we look backwards on other
Mhm.
times, and what's happened. So like tracking your life like from
Yes.
behind can help with that. That's one of the things that we do. Um, but what I've seen you do just in these short months together is make like big, like life decisions for yourself based a lot on trust, right? What are some of those things that I don't want to say what those things are. I want you to say like what you feel comfortable saying about like your big life decisions, but um, it's been very inspirational, like for everyone that's working, in our group together.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy. I have made the biggest decisions. It is really crazy to look back and think about it because I mean, like I left an 18-year relationship. I left a home that I owned. I left my dog. I moved to a different state, lived there for a while, moved to another state. Um, I have just made, investments with money, big investments, taking courses, taking learnings. Like I've made leaps and bounds, and it is really crazy to like look back on and realize how, you know, the faith that it did take to make those decisions. And it's like fortune truly favors the brave. That has been very apparent.
Yeah. And when we're given something, it's meant for us. Like when we're given a piece of information, it's really meant for us, but it takes the trust to take action. And that is one thing that you have really mastered is taking action and making big moves in your life. Well, actual physical moves, right? Too. Um,
Mhm.
and like even where you are now, you felt more like called to go there, like led to be there. And in just a little over a week, you're making important connections for this new business that you want to build. I mean, so fast. You really should just still only be unpacking boxes, right? But like things are already unfolding for you. It's crazy. Like
I
you should
know.
be learning where the supermarket is, you know? So
That was week one. I was like, real quick.
real quick. Yeah, yeah. So how does it feel for you to be developing and really claiming this trust and belief in yourself? What is that like?
I think it feels amazing. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is still scary. I'm
Yeah.
still scared about every decision I make, but
Mhm.
I know I also have that just like absolute inner knowing and trust that like I am where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I truly feel like this was a gift that was given to me, this creative idea that was meant for me, and I can't waste that gift. I was given a gift. I need to take it and allow it to be, my reality.
Yeah. And it's like um, so many entrepreneurs can probably relate to this, like being given an idea, like an idea dropping in. And then what are you going to do with it? And so many people get stuck and don't do anything because it doesn't always make sense. And it can be
Hmm.
scary. It can be
Hmm.
super scary, right? But what you've become brilliant at is no, like if I received it, it's gonna it can happen, right? And then figuring out the steps that you want to take despite the fear that feel okay for you to take to start getting everything in motion. And you
Hmm.
actually like you're a very courageous woman because some people
Thank
just
you.
take a little step, but you're like, nope, gonna do this big thing. So I know Spirit World is like, we're just loving Lauren. Everything we give her, she's like, up there, I'm going for it. That's kind of how I picture it with you anyway. And how much circling are you doing on these decisions? Like how much asking others? Is it still like asking to get that permission? Or is it more like just really saying, this is what I want to do?
I think, I still have to ask, like, what's the next step? It's
Yes.
it's asking the guidance for, okay, what's the
Mhm.
next step? Because, I definitely, if I want to reach out to, a person for guidance, I
Mhm.
do tend to take pause and stop and say, instead of being like, what would you do? I have to stop and say, what would I do in this situation?
Yeah.
And, what guidance would I give myself? And almost
Mhm.
always the answer is right there.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
like it's already within me. I just need to
Yes.
listen.
Yeah. And I think so many entrepreneurs get caught up in and lost in other people's processes and strategies and the steps that they took that they lose themselves. But what you're doing is really saying, this is what I want to do. How can everyone support me do it? And that's a very different conversation than what should I do, right? So you're bringing yourself along the journey rather than taking a journey and slowly kind of losing a sense of yourself. And then things are disruptive and not working, and you don't know why. I've seen this with so many different entrepreneurs where months and months they're working on building their business, but nothing's really happening because they're trying to do it somebody else's way rather than following what's like right here and just getting that other person to support them in these decisions and putting the strategy with them rather than
Hmm.
changing themselves to fit into a strategy that it's like putting on clothes that don't fit right. You're just not going to make them fit,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
know? Yeah. I think it's really admirable the way that you have really claimed this for yourself, Lauren. Um, it's a privilege to witness you, and I know the other women
Thank,
feel the same way. You know,
thank you.
you bring a lot to the table. So, what is something now that you're like something that's dropped in or a decision that you're making that you would want to like hash out so we can get like to that part of yourself that already knows the answer?
I feel like I have some pretty deep conditioning around, finances and money,
Hmm.
and that I think is still something that it's like it always comes up for me. It's like trying to figure out is this my ego mind coming in? Because I do feel like it's like I'm given the guidance on what to move forward on, but my mind wants to come in and say, "Oh, but you don't have the finances for that, or that's not going to
Hmm.
work like this." And
Hmm.
so I know that that's something that I still come up against. And I know it's because of, such deep conditionings that I have around it.
Yes. Yeah. And finances are a real thing. You know, I always say, like, you can't take the social worker out of me. Like, we have the money for certain things. We also spend the money the way we want to. There's like a blend of the both. But when it comes to our relationship with money, and I think that's what you're talking about, and the beliefs that we have around it, that can actually dictate the steps that we take around money, rather than taking the steps that might work better for us. So, I guess a question I would want to ask you is what what do you feel like growing up, like in your family and throughout your life, how has when you look at people who have wealth, is there a certain feeling or um, a way that you look at them, like a belief about who they are as people and what they represent? What is your belief around that?
I think for a long time, it was like seeing that as something that was like not good, that there was that message that like rich people are not good people. And I know I've come to learn that that's not truth, that a lot of people that have wealth are very abundant and giving, and that's all that I've witnessed in my own. But I do know that I still struggle with guilt. Guilt has been a
Yeah.
huge thing in my life that I struggle with. So it's like almost like I feel to see wealth is like I would feel guilty for having that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And is there a little bit of a concern that, and these concerns don't always make logical sense, it's just like how we feel, right? Is there,
Mhm.
would there be a concern that if you obtained wealth, maybe someone, maybe even just your family or people that know you might look at you through those other eyes of like people who have wealth are not good people, right? And trying to keep
Absolutely.
yourself
Absolutely.
from being viewed that way. So this is a
Mhm.
big thing, Lauren, to really pay attention to for yourself. And the truth is, the only way to change the image of what wealth can represent and who a person of wealth can represent is to become a different person of wealth than what you were taught, right? I love saying, like, we need wealth to get into the hands of the right people. Because if
Mhm.
wealth got into the hands of people who actually care, things would change dramatically in a great way, right?
Mhm.
And the truth is, it's like just an honest fact of life. It takes money to create change in
Mhm.
real ways, especially about the things that you believe in, you know?
Yeah.
One of the things that I see a lot of like spiritual people and even spiritual entrepreneurs is like have this discomfort with wealth. Like, I'm not supposed to charge for this. This is a gift. It's not a gift anyway. How hard did you work on it, right? Um, and they're keeping themselves out of like saying they want to help people, yet a big way you can help people is through money. Like money
Mhm.
is necessary to do really big things that you want to do, right? So we can help someone on our smaller level, one on one, doing our healing work, creating these beautiful things for people to take with them when they travel so that they can feel like grounded and centered and like they haven't
Mhm.
lost their practice, right? Especially when you travel and a lot of spiritual people, like we don't like to leave our homes, right?
Mhm.
So like we're like cave people, and then it's like kind of anxiety producing to travel and being like outside in the world and all this energy, right? So like you're creating such a beautiful thing for people to take them outside of themselves, right? But and that helps. But if you did it successfully and built an income for yourself where you had disposable income, then Lauren, I guess my question is, what would you want to do with that money?
Oh
What
my
would become
gosh.
possible?
Yeah, I've literally prayed that to have the resources to be abundant so that I could pour back into other people. Like I just know that I could truly help so many people, not just my family, but my friends, people that have
Right.
supported me throughout this journey. There have been like
Yeah,
I did not get here without help. I have had so many people support me, and so I just would love to be able to, pour that back into other people.
beautiful. So, what about maybe even like writing that down for yourself and really spending more and more time kind of going into that belief about money and exploring that within
Mhm.
yourself and see if you can start shifting away because really ultimately we're just talking about making a shift in your belief. And
Mhm.
in our time together, you've made a shift in many different beliefs, right? There were beliefs that kind of block the intuitive information that we work through. Like intuitive development is also like shifting beliefs and
Mhm.
shifting those beliefs so that they work more for you, right?
Mhm.
So if you keep this belief about money is for people that are not kind and you don't want to be that person. And if you can shift it as into money in my hands could change the world more dramatically than even my businesses by themselves will change, then what do you think would happen?
Sky's the limit. I
Yeah.
mean, I truly believe that it's like I've been given purpose, and I know it's big and it's hard to grasp it how big it is, but
Mhm.
I still trust the process, and I'm just allowing it to unfold like it's supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you see when you have a sense of like where you can go in your life, right? That ultimate vision and how expansive and grand it is, it's not going to happen unless you take the steps to make it happen. It's just not going to like fall in your lap. Nothing,
Hmm.
maybe certain things along the way fall into your lap, but the big change in your life is not going to fall into your lap. You have to be a part of the process, right? So what's beautiful is when you're shown that you have something that you can use like a magnet to keep pulling you through taking action to get there. And the actions that I've seen you take just this year are phenomenal. Like you have already started that journey of letting that vision take you there, right? And as you open up this new business, because I know when you're creating product, it's not like starting an online business where you can do it for a relatively in an inexpensive way. When you're creating product, you have to invest money to produce the product and get it out there,
Yep.
right? So you want to work through to be able to produce this product. And I'll bet you've been given some kind of inspiring ideas on how to make that happen for yourself too, you know, and
Hmm.
get that product out there. I know you've already been making connections in this past week or so, which is
Hmm.
great. But we ultimately have to shift our beliefs to grow. There's usually a belief or a piece of a belief that's a little bit just in the way every time we're really
Hmm.
creating big change. So, how does that all sit with you?
Really good.
Yeah.
I know that I'm on the right path. I've met the right people. Have the right guides with me and
Mm-hmm.
have the
Mm-hmm.
trust and the courage.
Yeah. Yeah. And something that I love to say, I know it sounds so woo, but believe it if you can. Like we have a whole team of support in the world of spirit. They are trying to help us all the time. So why not use it? It's kind of like if a whole team of people showed up at your doorstep and said, Sacred Roots Studio, we're here. We're going to make it real for you right now, right? You wouldn't ignore it, right? So
Yeah.
I know that you're not ignoring that team of support, but I kind of want everyone listening to even just be thinking about that for themselves. Like, we always have that. It's so phenomenal. It's so
Yeah.
phenomenal. And life is hard. We need a team of support through much of life.
Hmm.
And I think that's one of the most valuable things I've learned in my own intuitive development is like the awareness of this support, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. That's exactly it is that. It's like truly having the awareness and allowing it to come
Mhm.
in and listening to it, trust it. The more that you trust it, the more that it comes in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Lauren, let's say someone's like, oh, I wonder what products Lauren's going to make. I love shopping. Like, someone's listening. Everybody, who doesn't love shopping? I don't know. There a sneak peek you could give, or a way like you could, are you creating a waiting list of people that you can let know once your product is launched? Like, is there a way people could contact you, or do you want to give us a little sneak peek of maybe even just a general idea of what you're going to be producing? Because I know you know quite a few things already.
Mhm.
Hmm.
So I don't have anything quite set up yet.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm working on, but I would just say I know that the first product is going to be like a traveling Palo Santo holder,
Mm.
so that you're able to take your rituals with you and to feel grounded within yourself while traveling.
Mhm.
So that is all I'm going to say on that. There will be many other things in the line, and there may be some special people getting the first products.
Ooh, fun. I hope I'm on
Mm.
the list. Well, I'm going to hound you anyway. I'm going to hound you. But and if someone is like, "Ooh, when you launch it, I kind of want to know," how would they get in touch with you so you can keep a list of people? Do you prefer like Facebook Messenger or Instagram, or what do you like to use?
I would say either one, Facebook or Instagram.
Okay.
I have my Instagram right now, which is Lauren the Explorer. So that would
Okay.
probably be the best. I'll be
Yeah.
creating its own shop for the design
Oh,
line.
oh, amazing. So once I post this video in the comments, please drop the link to your Instagram in any way that you want people to be communicating with you. Because
Mhm.
you know what? Why not start that wait list?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a group of spiritual people right here that you're talking to, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. And we all love our stuff. I'm surrounded by my stuff. Yeah, I think it's a really brilliant line, and I've never seen it actually presented quite like what you're talking about. Hmm.
Yeah, I was actually looking for the product when that's why I was like, I was traveling a lot and I was like, gosh, I wish I had, I have my tray, then my ashtray, and I have my Palo Santo and stuff, but it was like, I need something when I'm
Hmm.
traveling, when I'm gone, that I can like take
Hmm.
with me and be
Hmm.
contained. So it was like, what I
Yeah,
needed and I couldn't find it. So
yeah. And I know
thus,
you have other products you're thinking of that we've talked about that people can just be using in their everyday life. So stay in touch with Lauren because some of these things are really magnificent. We're just keeping it on the lowdown right now till it's launched, right? Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So, Lauren, any other questions before we part today?
Um, I don't know, I guess not any questions. I'm just very grateful to you. I also feel like it's been such a privilege to be able to be in your school, and I love everything that I'm learning, and I feel like I've had not just a mentor, but a friend in you, and it's just been, like I said, a privilege.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad that you feel that way. And that's what I want is like for people to feel like they have a place that they belong, but also I've said this so many times, like within the school, I say this, like you're making your spiritual besties for life and people that you can count
Mhm.
on. I have mine from my own development, and they are some of the best, closest friends in my life. And some of them, like, we've never even met in person because we're like live all over the world, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, um, I'm really glad that you're creating that for yourself too, Lauren. It's really important because as you make these
Hmm.
changes, you need people who like see you and actually
Hmm.
understand you because everyone else in your life is like busy adjusting, like, who is this person now? You know? And
Yeah.
but you make new friends along the way too. So it's disruptive and beautiful all at once.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to post this later today, and I will remind you to drop all your info in the comments. And people comment on the video when you watch it. Ask Lauren anything you want to ask her because we will be, watching those for those comments and we will get back to you. But in the meantime, thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.